But first, at the coming federal election, there will be a choice about Australia Day. Peter Dutton's made it very clear yesterday that if you vote for him to form government, the woke boycott of our National Day by local councils will end. Now, as it stands, reports in the Herald Sun today have around 30% of councils in Victoria opting not to celebrate Australia Day in any form, including citizenship ceremonies. But the Socialist Republic to one side, around the country, the tide's turning. Many councils are now going out of their way to declare their support for our National Day. One such council is the Wellington Shire, with the Mayor going so far as to say today, "We're not one of the woke city councils." Well, good on that Mayor. Mayor Councillor Scott Rossetti joins me now. Scott, I loved hearing your full-throated support for our National Day. It was refreshing. It was absolutely in sync with how I reckon a majority of Australians feel about our country. I saw a report today, though, that the reason why some of these councils, and they are diminishing, opposed Australia Day events was they say it's too hot, it's too expensive. If you make us do it, we want to be compensated for doing it. What do you make of those sorts of comments?
Well, thanks, Peter. And I don't know why you wouldn't celebrate Australia Day. Anyone who travels around the world, if you've been fortunate enough to get around the place, I don't think there's anywhere that even remotely matches our country in terms of the lifestyle and safety and facilities. And even down here in the bottom right-hand corner of Australia, in the middle of everywhere, we have everything we need, and we can travel Australia, we can travel the world. It's just fabulous to be in Australia. And so we would always want to celebrate Australia Day.
The Lord Mayor in Adelaide, Jane Lomax-Smith, who I declare was a former Labor state MP, she says if you make us do stuff on the 26th, we want to be compensated for all the extra costs. I mean, you have a very full schedule on Australia Day. You don't get compensated for any of it. Give us a sense of what you make of her remarks and what you actually do in your shire on Australia Day.
Well, in our shire, Peter, we do have everything is community-led. And that way the community are actually invested. So we don't put council staff around and say, we control everything. We actually fund the community groups in 14 different townships to be able to ideally cover all of their costs. And of course, their volunteers then are running these events. So it not only is efficient and economic, it's actually invested in the community. So people turn up and they love it. It's much better when the community can lead these things and do these things. And often the outcomes are nuanced to those individual communities. But we've got 41 new citizens being made, citizenised, whatever the word is, on Australia Day, and they're from something like 18 different countries. It's nuts, and they're choosing to be naturalised on Australia Day, and that's exciting. You see people taking that step. It's actually a huge credit to Australia. They actually are choosing to move here and to take on citizenship, which is a big step. I'm always amazed on those days. That I think if I went to another country and became not Australian and something else, it's a massive step for people to make. But they're making it.
And of course, if you sit in on one of those ceremonies, and I've done it for many years when I work for politicians, it absolutely reignites your own passion for Australia. It's a bit like I say, if you've got money in your pocket, you can afford to travel overseas. It's that flight home as you're approaching your home airport and you land in this country. If you could bottle up that feeling we all have when we come home to Australia, and we thank God that we've won the lottery of life to live here, if you could bottle that up, you'd be a billionaire, right? It's a very special feeling. And this idea that we can't be proud about our country, that we all think our best days are behind us, I think that's just completely wrong-headed. And I feel amongst your local council brethren, there's been a real shift in how they've felt in recent years about Australia Day on the 26th.
Yeah, look, I think when I get together with the councils at our regular events, I'll probably get a bit of Mickey taken about referring to the woke city councils. But by the same token, I am feeling the same thing. Look, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and there's always things that we could do better, and there's always ways we can reflect on history to understand the impact of the English coming here on all people. But that put aside, it's just an amazing place to be. And for you landing the plane, for me, it's if we have international guests coming in, showing them around, showing them our backyard. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the Wellington Shire or whether you're up around Sydney or you're up in Queensland or Perth or wherever. The fact that the people coming here are just amazed at what we take for granted, the open spaces, people came to me from overseas who said that they don't know where their taxes go in their own country. At least here we know where they go. We can argue about how they're spent, but often in countries that simple ability to see a budget, people don't see. So we have a lot to be thankful for, and Australia Day is a great day for that.